You're not stuck because you want to be. You're stuck because something inside you is screaming, and no one ever taught you how to listen. Procrastination isn't a character flaw. It's not laziness. It's not a lack of willpower. It's an echo of something deeper, something you might not even know how to name. You beat yourself up for not starting, for putting things off, for hiding from your own goals. But what if I told you that the very behavior you hate in yourself might be the only way your mind has learned to ask for help, without being punished? Maybe you've been fighting the symptom, without ever stopping to look at the wound. There are days when time stretches out like an endless hallway. You're aware of what needs to be done, but it feels like your body is buried, and every task is a stone on your chest. The world keeps spinning outside. People seem to move forward, get things done, make things happen. But inside you, everything just freezes. It's not that you don't want to. It's that your body is too tired to obey. Your mind is worn out from forcing itself. And still, you judge yourself. You call yourself weak. You compare yourself to everyone who seems fine. You feel ashamed for not keeping up. But maybe, just maybe, you're not failing. Maybe you're just trying to survive in a world that doesn't respect your inner limits. Procrastination might seem harmless, but it carries the weight of 1,000 broken expectations, and you carry all of them in your chest. Before trying to fix yourself, before rushing for quick solutions, maybe what you really need is just one honest moment of stillness. A pause to look inside and gently ask, what part of me is so tired? It can't move anymore. There's a prison no one sees. A cell built beneath your own skin. The body is still, but the mind, it's screaming. It doesn't rest. It doesn't stop. It pushes you, blames you, reminds you, non-stop, of everything left undone. It's like a machine running in silence, even when everything inside you is begging for a break. It feels like lying in bed with your heart racing, as if something urgent is about to happen. But there's nothing. Just life, demanding your presence. While you try in pieces to hold yourself together, you wake up already tired, and still, you force yourself to act normal, because the world has no time for slow souls. You put on the face of, I'm fine, but inside, there's a war. Every task becomes a monster. Every unanswered message feels like a failure. Even the smallest things, making the bed, stepping outside, replying to an email, feel like climbing mountains no one else can see. You try to negotiate with your own brain. You promise? Just 5 minutes. You try rewards, timers, tricks, but what no one sees is that behind the distraction, there's a hidden battlefield. Because it's not really about what needs to be done. It's about how it makes you feel when you look at it. Guilt, pressure, shame, all tangled up in thoughts that won't stop spinning. And the more you try to force yourself, the more your body resists, as if it's saying, I can't. Not now. Not yet. And that's terrifying, because you know what needs to be done. But something in you, something older, deeper, keeps pulling you back. You're not alone in this. So many people live this same loop. So many carry this quiet shame. But what if this block isn't a mistake? What if it's just the way your mind learned to survive years of pressure, fear, and nonstop demands? Maybe before trying to break through, you just need to listen. Listen to what this slowness is trying to tell you. Not all trauma screams. Some just slow you down. It quiets your movements, weakens your drive, freezes your body. Not to punish you, but to protect you. Procrastination, as frustrating as it feels, might be one of those armors. A survival response disguised as a flaw. Think about it. What you call delay might actually be a shield. A defense your mind built in a time when making mistakes was dangerous, when being judged hurt more than staying silent. At some point in your life, doing, acting, trying, being seen became linked to pain, to rejection, to the disappointed look from someone you loved, to the fear of not being enough. So your mind learned to hesitate. It learned that if it slows you down, distracts you, numbs you, maybe you won't get hurt again. It's like there's an old part of you, a quiet guard that truly believes it's saving you. It whispers, just wait a little longer. Don't face this yet. It's not safe. That part isn't your enemy. It's just carrying fear. And while you try to force productivity with inner shouting and pressure, that part resists, because it's still stuck in a time when action meant pain. That's why none of the focus hacks last, because you're not just trying to work. You're fighting against your own defense system. You don't need more discipline. You need translation. To translate this slowness into emotional language. To understand that the delay isn't laziness. It's memory. Memory without words, stored in your muscles, your breath, your quietest habits. It's your unconscious trying to keep you safe. So next time you catch yourself procrastinating again, next time you feel like you've failed again, try asking yourself, gently and honestly, what exactly am I trying to protect myself from? The answer might not come right away, but the question, asked with kindness, already begins to loosen the knot. Because sometimes procrastination isn't trying to stop you from living. It's just trying to make sure, this time, you don't get hurt trying. There's a point where procrastination stops being just delay and turns into anguish, a weight in your chest, a knot in your throat that you try to ignore. But it always comes back the moment you sit down to start. Because it's not just about putting things off. It's about what's hiding in that later. It's the fear of messing up before you even try. The shame of not being able to handle it. The quiet panic of being seen and judged for simply being who you are. You look at your growing to-do list like a pile of broken promises, each one whispering, you never follow through. And without realizing it, you start defining yourself by what you didn't do. Your identity gets tangled up in the delay, and soon, you don't know if you're avoiding a task or hiding from yourself. You begin to sabotage yourself in silence, making up excuses you don't even believe, distracting yourself compulsively, not for pleasure, but out of desperation. Your phone, food, social media, sleeping too much, anything to drown out the noise inside, anything to avoid the pain of trying and failing again. And the world doesn't get it. They say it's just about focus or priorities or time management. But no one sees the war you fight just to get out of bed with a heart that's already worn out. Behind the delay, there's a scream muffled by years of self-pressure. By trauma, you never had the space or time to process. By expectations, you were taught to carry as if they were your duty. You're not delaying because you want to. You're delaying because deep down, you believe that taking action will expose you to mistakes, to other people's judgment, to the terrifying possibility that maybe you're not enough. And that belief, rooted in old wounds, becomes an invisible fence, an emotional electric wire. The more you try to push through it, the more it hurts. So, you pull back, again and again. But maybe it's time to stop silencing that scream and start listening to it. Because it's not working against you. It's just the pain of a part of you that's tired of trying without being met with kindness. A part that wants to be seen, heard, respected, before being forced to perform. You've spent your whole life believing that, to be worthy, you had to earn it, to produce, to deliver, to push through. even when you were falling apart inside. So many days spent forcing yourself, pushing, pressuring, breaking yourself into pieces to meet your own expectations that you forgot. Rest is also a form of dignity. Stopping isn't failure. Sometimes it's just a quiet cry for care. And here's the hard truth. The way out of pain isn't always to fight harder. Sometimes, healing begins when you allow yourself to say, "I'm not ready to move on." And that's okay. You don't need to move right now. You don't need to fix yourself today. You don't need to battle every part of you that feels stuck, as if those parts were enemies. Because maybe those parts are just asking to be heard. Maybe all they want, maybe for the first time, is to be met with kindness. It feels strange, right? That transformation could begin in the exact opposite of effort. But that's what no one tells you. That stillness is also a valid response. That the body remembers. That there are wounds that still hurt under the pressure to perform. You don't need more commands. You need space. You need presence. You need an inner place where you're not constantly being demanded to do more. Try something different. Instead of asking, "How do I get out of this?" ask, "How can I care for myself here, now, even if I'm not functioning?" That question changes everything. It ends the war, lowers the weapons inside you, and slowly you start to realize there's something more powerful than discipline. Listening. Real listening. Without judgment. Without a script. Just you. With your pauses, your hesitant attempts, your valid pain. That's courage. That's a new beginning. It's not about productivity. It's about emotional dignity. And maybe, just maybe, your path isn't to conquer procrastination, but to learn how to have a conversation with it. You look back, and all you see are unfinished beginnings, projects left behind, promises whispered to the mirror that never made it past intention. And then, the judgment hits. Why am I like this? Why can't I follow through? Why do I always end up stuck? But what if that's not the right question? What if, instead of why, you asked, how have I managed to survive all of this in silence? Yes, because surviving is also an act of resistance, and you've been resisting, quietly, fiercely, even when no one noticed. Maybe no one saw how much effort it took just to get out of bed. Maybe no one heard the battles you fought alone inside your own mind. Maybe no one realized the strength it took to keep trying, even when everything in you just wanted to disappear. But I see it. And even though I don't know your face, I recognize that silent pain, that constant pressure, that guilt for not living up to the image, that invisible weight you carry every day. So before we end this conversation, I want to offer you something you might have never been given: permission to rest without guilt, to exist without achieving, to forgive yourself for every delay, and start again without rushing. You don't have to prove your worth every second. You don't have to keep up with a rhythm that's breaking you. Your worth isn't measured by how productive you are. It's found in the quiet truth that you're still here. Even if you've paused, even if you've struggled, even if you've started over 1,000 times, that matters. And maybe, starting now, you don't need to punish yourself every time you stop. Maybe now, you can begin to welcome yourself. Because behind what you call procrastination, maybe there's just a pain, longing to be loved. And if any part of this touched something in you, breathe. Feel it. And if you want to keep having these silent conversations with your mind, subscribe. We're not done listening yet.